Welcome along. Transfer time. Dharmesh and Michael are with me. Dharms, let's start at Manchester United. Tell us about this exodus.
Yeah, this is quite big news, actually. All of these players that you can see behind us: Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, Alejandro Garnacho, Antony, Tyrell Malacia have all informed, we understand, Manchester United that they want to leave the club. Now, as a result, Manchester United have actually delayed their return date to pre-season. The rest of the squad are expected back on Monday, July the 7th, to return to pre-season. But all 5 of these players have been granted a delay so that they can try and sort out a solution for their future. If their futures are not resolved in that period, then they will return to Carrington, to the Manchester United training ground, not necessarily, it should be said, to reintegrate themselves into the first team squad, though we can't rule that out, but it is to use the facilities and use the medical facilities and any remote facilities that they have that all the squad would be able to enjoy anyway. But as it stands, those 5 players, Rashford, Sancho, Garnacho, Antony, Malacia, have all made it clear to Manchester United of their wish and their desire to leave Old Trafford.
And the interesting one as well, you know when your futures might be not at the club you're at, is when your number is taken away. What we also found out this afternoon, Matheus Cunha will now have that number 10 shirt, the famous Manchester United number 10 shirt, which Marcus Rashford has had since 2018. Now, Cunha was done so earlier, you forget what potentially a huge signing this could be for Manchester United, and it looks like he will wear that number 10 shirt, and we are told that Rashford was told about this earlier this summer.
OK, so Dharmesh, let's just go through the 5 players in order and where you think they might end up or what their plans might be. And let's start with the ex-number 10, Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, the ex-number 10 is incredible, isn't it? Michael is so right when he says that nothing says that you're not belong a part of a club's plans, then, yep, there's your number. You're not having it anymore. There's your number 10 gone. So Marcus Rashford, we know, spent the second half of last season on loan at Aston Villa, returned to United after both he and Villa didn't take up that £40 million option to make that deal a permanent one. There haven't been any formal offers as yet, we understand, for Marcus Rashford to Manchester United, but we have heard about his desire to join one particular club, and that particular club is Barcelona. He would love to go to Barcelona. Rashford wants Champions League football next season. Whether he were to get that move to Barcelona, we know that they've got a few financial issues when they try and get deals over the line. That's another matter. But as far as if he had his wish, he would like to go to Barcelona for next season.
And would United take another loan deal, do you think?
Look, the ideal scenario for all 5 of these players is for Manchester United to get permanent deals done for them, because the way we're looking at their window at the moment is that they had a budget to bring in the likes of Matheus Cunha, and I'm sure Michael will talk about Bryan Mbuemo in a moment. Thereafter, they do still want to strengthen that squad, but it's felt that to really go big again in the transfer window, they would need to make sales.
Manchester United enter a crucial phase in their summer rebuild as the transfer window approaches its peak. After a tumultuous 2024-25 campaign that saw the Red Devils finish 15th in the Premier League and lose the Europa League final, Ruben Amorim's side are desperate to strengthen ahead of a season without European football. The club's priority remains adding firepower to an attack that managed just 44 league goals last term, with new signing Matheus Cunha offering a glimpse of promise but not yet enough depth. Attention has firmly turned to Brentford's Bryan Mbuemo, a player United view as a key target to boost their front line, especially amid uncertainty surrounding Rasmus Højlund's role and future. News surrounding this have stalled, but United remain favourites to land the Cameroon international, who has made it clear he only wants a move to Old Trafford. GiveMeSport reveal Manchester United are preparing their final offer for Bryan Mbuemo as talks with Brentford resume this weekend. GiveMeSport report that the opening bid of £45 million plus £10 million in add-ons was swiftly rejected, followed by a second offer of £55 million plus £7.5 million in add-ons that also failed to meet Brentford's valuation. The London club believe Mbuemo is worth more than what United paid for Matheus Cunha earlier in the transfer window, creating a stalemate. The ongoing discussions aim to gauge how close the two sides are to an agreement, but Brentford have reportedly briefed that they still believe the winger could remain at the club this summer. Updates have been slow, with United cautious not to overpay and willing to walk away if the deal doesn't meet their standards. An internal deadline of Friday has been set by United's hierarchy to wrap up the transfer in time for Mbuemo to join pre-season training on Monday. However, no agreement is currently in place, meaning that timeline looks unlikely to be met. Brentford Sporting Director Phil Giles addressed the ongoing transfer situation in an interview with Sky Sports. He said, "From what I understand, he's also, if needs be, happy to stay at Brentford for next year as well." United's owners, Ineos, have publicly criticised the previous regime for capitulating to inflated demands in high-profile transfers. They are determined not to repeat those mistakes, mindful of the message that overpaying would send to other clubs and agents. With Mbuemo's preference firmly for a move to Old Trafford, the ball is in Brentford's court, and this week will decide if the deal finally gets over the line or falls apart entirely.